the worst question in the world is, what can I help you with today? Well, early last year, I had a hate campaign against me on Glassdoor.
Right.
So there was a group of girls that created a WhatsApp group, and they were every single Saturday all leaving a review.
That's supposed to make your life easier, but they're still reliant on you to
Yeah.
tell them exactly what to do. So actually, instead of making your life easier, you just create more management time for yourself.
Definitely, Dad's mantra has just always been, just go and try it. Like, even if it doesn't work out, you need to have known that you've gone and tried it. So it's never been anything but go and give it a go.
Welcome back to the Bet Happy Business Owner podcast, where instead of just asking the question, how do you grow your business, we ask the question, how do you enjoy running your business? Because business is a game, and if you enjoy the game, you're much more likely to win. Today, I've got a special episode, a guest episode with Emma Mills. So Emma Mills is the founder of EMi&x. It's a business that she started in 2007 as a self-funded one-woman virtual assistant service. I'm looking at her eyes to see if she's nodding. And she's since grown that to a 7-figure revenue company supporting hundreds of entrepreneurs across the UK. And here's why that matters. Fewer than 4% of UK business owners ever reach 1 million in annual revenue, and nearly 60% of businesses fail within their first 5 years. That means Emma sits in a tiny percentage of business owners who do not only survive, but scale. So in today's conversation, we're going to explore 2 things. First, Emma's story, how she built EMi&x from scratch without outside funding, navigating growth, team building, leadership challenges, and the very real pressures that come with scaling a service business past the 1 million mark. And then secondly, and in the spirit of transparency, Emma is also a client of mine at the Fraction Integrators, so we're going to unpack what changed as she moved from being a successful but stretched founder to installing clearer strategy, stronger systems, and a more aligned team. But this isn't about promoting anything. It's about giving you a behind-the-scenes look at what it actually takes to move from busy operator to structured leader, and what shifts when a business becomes system-led instead of owner-dependent. So if you're stuck in the weeds, if growth has created more stress instead of more freedom, or if you're hovering below that next revenue milestone and wondering what needs to change, this episode will show you what's possible and what it really takes to get there. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Mike. What an amazing intro. I'm going to listen to that every morning.
Are you?
Some motivational music, I think.
Well, it's a common theme. You're very humble, aren't you? And I think you play down your achievements. So,
Thanks.
yeah. I really want to say all the frills of Emma Mills. I've got to say it.
Yeah, and it's all the frills or all the thrills.
Will you tell me?
Yeah, it's a bit sad that before we started this episode, I just assumed it was all the frills, not the thrills.
I don't understand what you're saying. Are you saying Are you saying all the frills or all the?
All the frills with FR.
Right, that's what you want it to be.
Well, no, that's what I assumed it would be. But you're right. All the thrills is much, much better.
You're hot on it.
I mean, considering the build-up that's been to getting this room ready.
Should we start this? Should we let the audience know how long it's taken us to? It's now. What time are we recording at?
It's 4:30, and you booked this from 3.
Yeah, and we've just started.
Basically, been like, what's all those roles that you have when you're like best boy, runner, production assistant?
Yeah, tech. Or the audio tech.
Yeah, we've had some tech failures.
And it all resorted to what fixed it in the end was a system reset on the
Googled a factory reset.
Yeah, that's it. We Googled it. Anyway, that's not what you're here to listen to. You're here to find out about Emma's story, Emma's business, and how she's got to where she's got to. So what I want to do today is go through 3 phases.
Okay.
So in my book, I've got the business owner journey, and I go from startup to what I call stability, which is where you kind of got a bit of a name for yourself, got maybe built a small team, and then how that slowly moves into the slog phase where it's frustrating that everything's reliant on you and difficult to scale. And then you move into what I call the systems and structure phase. So I know that you've been through that journey in your business. So I thought maybe if we do the second half of the podcast, we'll look at structure and how we started working together and what structure we added in. But before that, all that incredible work that you did before that. So the startup and the stability phase.
Yeah.
Cool. Sound good?
Sounds very good. I have to get my little memory bank out. It's our 18th birthday in March.
I know.
Of the business, so it's a long time now.
I mean, that's an achievement in itself, isn't it? How many people have owned a business for 18 years? And then, how old were you when you started EMi&x?
26.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 26.
So you have, I'd love to know the stats on that. How many people started a business in their 20s and still have it 18 years later? I bet that's very, very few people.
Yeah.
And it's signs to your combination, I guess, of tenacity and stubbornness.
Thanks. Yeah. Not even just from a financial view, like from a sanity view, having it 18 years later, like some people don't want to keep doing it.
No, well, yeah, I mean, like consistency. I mean, I had my first business for 5 years and I was burnt out and I was like fed up of this. And I tapped out 5 years in, but you've kept growing and slogging and making it work for 18 years. And as we'll discuss today, maybe cried a few times along the way.
I mean, based on the number of times I cried in your presence, I think you know that that's probably quite a high number. And not because of Mike, just to clarify. That's
good. I'm glad that I'm really happy that you did clarify.
Not because of Mike.
When I work with businesses, I get really clear with OKRs, objectives, key results, so just being specific on your goals. And one of the things I said to Emma is perhaps we should have a key result around reducing the amount of times that you cry in a month or in a 2-3 month period. Not that there's anything wrong with being emotional.
No.
Right then, let's start with the startup phase. So I want to know, in like the early days when it was just Emma, well, how did you get started? Like, what was the foundation of the business?
That I loved being an executive assistant. Ultimately. Yes. No. Of course. I loved the job that I had. So I dropped out of uni after a year, got a couple of office admin roles, became an EA in one business, stayed with them for 3 years, and then went to another business. And in both businesses that I worked in as an EA, I was very lucky in that I was the support to like my clients now, business owners, founders, making shit happen, ambitiously trying to grow a business. So I was very exposed, if you like, to entrepreneurial decisions, like both of them. So one was very fast growth. The first business I worked with was Crane Hire, but they only dealt in telecoms, and it was when they were building the 5G network, and they absolutely skyrocketed in size.
Yep.
And the second business I worked with, he is like your stereotypical entrepreneur, making shit happen, getting through problems whichever way you felt best. Not always legally, I don't think, but it was very successful. Very successful, and a real character, and taught me loads. I really owe him a lot. So how I got started is that I loved being an executive assistant. I really love that. I definitely think like my love language is to serve. Like I like helping.
Yeah.
I like that feeling of the impact that you've made on somebody.
Yeah.
Not sure if that is love language, but it's definitely a way that I'm driven.
Yeah.
Like I get
one of your values.
Yeah, I get a kick out
one of your drivers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody going, oh my God, that's amazing, you saved my life, or you've made this happen. I really get a kick out of that and have done ever since.
Yeah.
So I really understood that impact that you can make on a business owner's life, getting them out of the weeds, which I know we'll talk about. And at the time, so this is 2008, it was actually 2007 originally when I resigned, but 2007 through to 2008, recession happening. And the word virtual assistant was just coming about. In fact, the summer that I resigned, Tim Ferriss had released 4-Hour Work Week 4 months earlier. Now, at the time, I had no idea who Tim Ferriss was or read the book. I was definitely not reading business books and learning all the things like I do now.
Yeah.
But it was like the beginning of this curve, and I've actually started writing a book, and I was researching the other day that the search for the word virtual assistant between like 2008 2012 absolutely skyrocketed on Google. Like business owners started to know there was a different way to do things. You don't have to employ. So loved doing what I did, helping the guys that I worked for, and then also really, really wanted to start my own business. There's no other reasoning behind it.
So I suppose quite a typical business owner story, really. Like you loved your job, but you wanted to help more people through that job, and you didn't want to be employed. So you're like, okay, well, how can I do this? And the way to do this is to start a business, and it's all going to be amazing, and everything's going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah, and it's all going to be fun and exciting.
And also a little bit of being in the right place at the right time, I guess, like with your skill set and your passion around helping people and being a really good EA, and then Tim Ferriss writing that book. So it's kind of like all the stars aligned really for you to go and... How did you have the confidence to... Because I think about myself at 26, I mean, I was in the military, but if somebody said to me, like, go and start a business, I'd have been like, who am I to start a business? And what do you think led to you having the confidence and if it's the right term, the balls to do it?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things. I think naivety was definitely one of them. Like, I didn't, because I know lots of people said to me, oh my God, you started a business in 2008. The world was imploding at that point. Yeah. But that never, ever registered on my radar, whether that's stupid or not. It wasn't part of my decision making. It was just, I want to really go and do this thing. So I definitely think naivety and enthusiasm played a small part of it.
Yeah,
for sure. My dad had always had his own business throughout my whole upbringing, so that like I've watched him. I would say my dad's business is he was very much in the weeds. It was all revolving around him. I saw somebody graft really hard, come home for dinner, go back at night. So I definitely, like the work ethic, making things started. I don't know whether I was watching my dad do it.
Yeah, I thought that. As soon as you said my dad, I think if you're like seeing that throughout your childhood, that you can start a business and you can, because like my family are very career, what's the word, non-entrepreneurial people. So my dad worked in mortgages. My mum is now a police officer, but was, I think she worked, do you remember Miller Brothers?
No.
Used to sell like kitchen appliances.
No.
So she used to work there. I think they're all like DFSs now.
Right.
In their final sale of the year. So my family just didn't have entrepreneurial acumen in them. So the thought of going into business, to me, just the thought of it seemed like this massive, scary thing.
Really?
So maybe like seeing your dad.
I think it is now. Now I think about it, definitely as a child, I thought it was very cool what my dad was doing, creating. I mean, my dad had a garage and he was doing the work as well. So it's like he's properly in the thick of it. Do you know what I mean? But I do recall feeling like it was very cool what my dad had done, that he had his own business.
And were your parents, what was your parents' take when you expressed interest to? Were you close to them at that age?
Yeah. No, very close to them still. I'm definitely, Dad's mantra has just always been, just go and try it. Like, even if it doesn't work out, you need to have known that you've gone and tried it. So it's never been anything but go and give it a go.
It's so interesting for me because I get to talk to I am a business owner. I get to talk to lots of different business owners. And one of the common themes behind people that get into business is having that mindset that you just talked about, like the confidence to just try a thing. And it doesn't really matter if you fail. Like it's, if you want to do it, go and try it.
Yeah.
It seems like
I definitely wasn't going into this like with any business plan, or it was just, I knew that I wanted to be a PA to help business owners. I was going to charge an hourly rate. Had no idea what that was at that point.
Yeah.
It was like between £10 and £15 an hour.
Yeah.
I was going to go and find out clients. And at the time I had a boyfriend who was in BNI. So that was like the first opening up to me of, this is what you should go and do. This is how you find clients. He wasn't a business owner.
No.
He was a...
Why was he in BNI?
Because he was a solicitor in a law practice.
Yeah.
So it was like part of his mandate to go to one of these and get clients.
Yeah.
But I think that was my first foray into, this is how you get clients. You go and meet people, say hello to them. And
that's really interesting as well, because I know, obviously I know the business well. I know you well. And really, when we can talk about this, like you've built the size of business that you've built predominantly through partnerships and getting yourself out there. So you took that to the nth degree and did an absolute masterclass in how to.
I feel like already in this conversation I'm having loads of like realizations. It's
well,
a bit
they call me the epiphany finder. They don't. I just made that up. One of the things that I think that I wrote down as well that I think would be interesting is that I think we need to talk about as we get towards the slog phase is how is when a strength can become a bit of a weakness at a certain stage of business and how you need to like put some control measures around it. And I know for you, like this desire to go above and beyond and just like make your clients' lives amazing.
Yeah.
I know that's part of what makes my PA so well known and respected and such a good business. But I also know that it's got its challenges because that can get in the way of certain things. So I think it'd be interesting to talk about that as we get into the slog phase. How did you then transition from being Emma, I'm doing my own business, I'm just going to go out and find some clients, to starting to hire people? Like what was the time frame around that?
It was 2008 to 2012. On the 21st of February 2012, I employed my first ever team member.
Nice. Okay, so you did roughly 4 years.
4 years as what I would call like fully self-employed, working from my back bedroom, going to BNI.
Yeah.
In fact, the client who was the guy who my ex-boss who taught me a lot about getting through any kind of problem, he actually became my very first client.
Yeah.
When I resigned, he was very furious about it because he didn't want me to go. But then when we came to an agreement,
very furious.
He was very furious. He
as
said
opposed
to me,
as opposed to not very furious.
well, if furious can have.
He was very furious.
If furious has levels, he was very furious. He said to me, "Do you know what karma is?" And my ex-boss.
So he gaslit you for leaving him.
Maybe is that gaslighting? Probably
Manipulation, maybe.
Manipulation, probably. Yeah. HR companies would have a field day with him now, but he was like, "Do you know what karma is?"
Hopefully,
like,
he's not listening to this podcast.
I don't think he is. How can you do this to me? But he was always that's how he made things happen. He was always very like blew up over the top. But then anyway, we had a great relationship. But I did get it. Like he just didn't want to have to find somebody new. But we agreed that
you were his right arm.
We agreed that he would actually become our first client. He then went on an hourly rate for the first 3 or 4 months, which I was then getting basically paid the same that I'd got paid monthly, but for 3 days a week. And I found him another EA, so it worked out really well. And I thank him massively for that because it helped me start to make the break.
Yeah. Get out of employee mindset.
Yeah, totally that. So literally that 4 years was going and meeting people.
And what drove you at that 4-year point, 2012? 2012?
2008 to 2012,
made up a year. What happened in 2012 for you to go, right, I'm going to hire someone? Where were you at? What happened?
I wish I'd kept journals, honestly, back then. Because, again, I don't know whether there's an element of I just didn't think it could fail. I didn't see any downside to it.
Maybe were you oversubscribed? Were you like, I've maxed out what I can do on my own?
I was oversubscribed. So I'd met a client who was in a serviced office. And do you remember when Regis was like the only serviced office to go to?
They're still around, aren't they, Regis?
Yeah, but they were like, there was only them. And so I had a client who was in a Regis. And I would go in at that point because it was nearby. But I ended up meeting other people in the Regis and got more clients out of it. Okay. So to answer your question, so that was like BNI and this Regis was one of my channels.
So you got BNI, you got Regis, because you're very good at, I think you've got a bit of an infectious personality. And when you're around people...
when I'm not crying.
When you're not crying. Well, it's still infectious, isn't it? But predominantly positive sometimes. But that's, part of the parcel, isn't it? It's being expressive is part of your personality, and people buy into it, and it attracts people. So you're kind of like going around. You've got BNI, you've got Regis, and that is unsurprisingly bringing in a network of a base of customers that want the Emma show.
Yeah.
Why do you think, outside of what I've just said, why do you think people were attracted to wanting to work with you?
Definitely number one is that I was and am very passionate about getting people from one place to another. So out of overwhelm, out of doing the wrong things, out of not doing the work they should be doing to getting them to where they need to be. So I'd met this company in there, and he... long story short, but this guy had, he was bringing a tyre company to, like a brand of tyres, GT tyres they were called. They're now huge. He started it from scratch.
Because of you.
I know. But I met him just at the time where the China arm had like brought him across, and he'd basically got a serviced office. So I started helping him. But why did people want it? I guess one, it was still quite new.
Yep.
And two, and also I fully kind of when I've delivered the role, you're all in. Like it's not about, if something needs to happen at 9 o'clock at night, if something needs to happen at 7 in the morning, I was just making stuff happen.
Yeah,
which isn't scalable, I know. But
well, potentially, but I think the thing is with you is that you because if you think about the typical, if you said to somebody, picture, if I said to you, picture an executive assistant in your head, I think, and maybe people will disagree, I think most people would picture an older woman who's
like
got
a secretary.
I think that's what they would assume, wearing glasses, pinstripe suit,
Yeah, that or Donna off Suits people picture.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear how many people, I think people that watch Suits maybe, but I imagine the most people would imagine an older woman who's very organised, very prim and proper, and everything's like that. And so to then think about Emma Mills when she's like in her 20s and like these high level, but I think it's cool. And then you've got to think, well, why is that? Like, why were so many people wanting that? And I think it's because you didn't just focus on doing, you focused on, I want to get you from here to here. And you focused on an outcome.
Yeah.
And you're very passionate about that as well. So when you combine those two things, I want to get you from here to here, and I'm so passionate about it, I'm going to make it happen. Like, people are going to want that. Yeah.
And I think, I feel like I've had another epiphany just now.
Helping you with your marketing here, Emma. She's like, why am I not talking about this?
There is one phrase that I talk about with my EA team a lot. And it's like, for me, every business owner just wants to hear that. Don't worry, I've got it. I'll figure it out. like for me, that is the dream. Even in my business now, when somebody goes, when I'm like trying to over explain or I'm giving something, a task over.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think owners are so, or entrepreneurially minded people are so invested into getting this, like, don't worry, it's done?
I think for various reasons. One, because it's no doubt lonely, without a doubt it's lonely. You're on your own. Mainly it's just the business owner that's shouldering all of the things and all of the stuff. And to know that you have somebody that's competent, capable, that can also go, oh, we're doing this project. Don't worry, I've got that. We're starting this podcast. Don't worry, I've got that. Like, I'll figure it. Like, I think it's just a real weight lifter. Like in your brain, to clear the open loops and open tabs that every business owner has got.
Yeah, agree.
And I think it's hard. I think it's hard for a business owner to get someone like that in their life.
Why? Why is it hard for business owners to find those people that can basically do the simple thing of, well, I don't want to say simple actually, but the simple outcome of.
Well, it's simple to you and I guess, and being able to go, I can make that happen for you.
Why do you think business owners find that so hard to find?
I think sometimes it's down to the strategy or the kind of team members they've decided to add first. So I talk a lot about doers, because doers are great and have their place, but doers don't necessarily alleviate, unless you as the business owner have decided to write all the processes, all the steps, all the way to do it, which, to be fair, most business owners frigging hate to do. So they'll add a doer in and go, I want you to do this, but want to miss out the part of showing them exactly how to do it, and it just fails. And you've got these people around you now that are waiting for the next thing. What can I do next?
People that are around you that are supposed to make your life easier, but they're still relying on you to tell them exactly what to do. So actually, instead of making your life easier, you've just created more management time for yourself.
Totally. And I've been through that myself, where as a team grew, I just ended up with a lot of doers hanging off, kind of waiting for mum to say what to do next. So I think some of it's down to like the hiring strategy, because also maybe it's like a slightly cheaper salary, maybe it's an easier first ad, but it doesn't just adding a team member doesn't guarantee that you're going to feel lighter or you're going to get the stuff off you. And I guess ultimately people don't actually want more team members. They want an outcome, and often what business owners want is the outcome of, I want half of this stuff that I don't want to do to just be off my plate, and for me to be rest assured that it's going to get taken care of. And I can imagine Emma you still do it now, but Emma in her 20s talking about that and giving business owners and these people absolute confidence that you were the person that were going to make that happen. And then you would go and make that happen, so you get referrals as well. Yeah. And I think also just on that, why don't business owners do it? Sometimes you don't know what's possible until you've seen it happen. Like I think sometimes business owners will think, well, no one will be able to do it as good as me. Like, I may as well do it myself. It's quicker. Like, that phrase comes up a lot. So until you've actually experienced somebody that goes, oh my God, like that just came back to me. I didn't even ask for it. Or they just did X, Y, and Z when I only asked them to do X. Like sometimes you actually don't know it's possible for that kind of person to exist.
So what do you think is the difference, Emma, between like Emma Mill's really high quality EA and just standard VA? What do you think the difference is, and how does a business owner experience those two things differently?
Well, and I just want to caveat that with, because I've said this a lot actually on calls recently, that the word VA is so wide nowadays. There's so many different iterations of what that can be. Not one term fits all. I think it's dead important that people understand that. And so the gap can be that a VA who is waiting for the process, the steps, the how to do things, is constantly asking you every day, what can I do for you now? What else would you like me to do? And literally, so we were on a ski trip together recently, a networking ski trip.
Business development.
Business. And I was having a conversation with a guy on there who said that he'd had a, let's call it a VA. It was actually an offshore VA, and that particular VA was every single day messaging him going, what do you want me to do now? What? And he was like, got to the point where it was giving me so much anxiety, because I'm like, I don't bloody know what I need you to do now. Like, I'm also stressed. I can't even think for myself. This isn't helping the situation. They had some stuff to do, which was kind of ticking over, but the energy and anxiety of like constantly having to think, God, I need to find something else now to give them. He was like, I just had to stop it because it wasn't helping me at all.
So you got this like somebody that can just do. What's the difference then between that person and somebody that's like in your business, or somebody that's your caliber of assistant?
Yeah, so we sit at the other end of the market to that, which is we talk about giving our clients an extension of them, a second brain, another pair of shoulders to carry stuff. And our energy is to understand what you're trying to achieve over the next 30, 60, 90 days, the year goal, but more short term to go, oh, okay, so you said that you're going to start the podcast in Q1. Where are we carving out the time to make this happen? What are the things that need to happen? What can I take? I'll take that. Don't worry. Like starting to understand what outcomes need to happen, as opposed to, right, well, every Friday I need you to fill in my expense report. And then on top of that, we'll add, or can you check my emails 3 times a day? Like starting to understand where Mike's trying to get to, what's important to, and in some instances, it will be that Mike wants to make sure he goes home at 5 o'clock every day because we've onboarded a client today. And I literally saw in the discovery call notes, he works till 10 most nights, and it's unsustainable for him. He doesn't mind it. He doesn't really want to do it anymore, but he knows something needs to change because he's also kind of reached his own upper limits of what's possible. Yeah. So he works till 10 every night. So one of his key, or our key, what does good look like in 30, 60, 90 days is this guy now. What are his weeks looking like? Is his time protected?
Yeah. I think so. What stands out to me is like on the lower level of that assistant scale in regards to caliber, that person's just going to like be able to do tasks, which means for the person that's using them, that's actually going to create a lot of management. It's not necessarily going to free up your time, because the time that you're saving from the task, you're having to then put into telling the people what the tasks are. Yeah. Whereas on that higher level of caliber for assistant, whether you want to say executive assistant or whatever, that person actually becomes a partner, an extension of you, and they take responsibility for outcomes as opposed to tasks. And I think what you do really well and your team do really well is not only do you get clear on the outcomes, it's like, what are we actually trying to achieve here, as opposed to tell me what to do. But it's like, not only do you get clear on the outcomes, you also make it easy for them to pass stuff off by doing that. Anything, whatever, it's easy. Give it to us. Yeah, it's done.
Totally. And I guess the management has flipped. So like at one end, like you need to manage the person. This is what you're doing next. This is what you need to do by then. We're taking ownership of the management. So we talk a lot about like when a client comes on board, we're managing you. Like we're here to make this as easy as possible, to suggest, to, when we're in the inbox, pick out all the things that go, well, I could forward this, I could do that. I've already done that, rather than waiting for the, just as like, I've done it, don't worry, I've got it, is amazing. The worst question in the world is, what can I help you with today? Yeah. I think it's a bit like, my first business was a gym. So I think people get clear on a thing they want. And the thing I want as a business owner is I don't want to be so busy all the time. I need to spend more time on the stuff I'm good at, less time on the admin, essentially. So then they go, right, I need an assistant. And it's like somebody says they want to get fit and they're like, right, I need a gym. And if you don't get clear on what you actually want from it, you can very easily end up with the wrong thing. So like, for example, I used to own a CrossFit gym. So it's basically small group personal training. Worked with a lot of business owners, actually. And a lot of them had come from David Lloyd's. David Lloyd's is one of my key referral partners, although they didn't actively refer. But what happened was people go to like David Lloyd's and like, I want to get fit. And then they go to a gym and then they're standing in a gym and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to train myself. I don't know what movements to do. I don't know how often to train. And they can pay for personal training, but often that's not very good. So a lot of them ended up coming to us because like, well, if you want to get fit, well, you'll have a coach every day. We'll take you through a program that's going to help you lose weight, build muscle, get rid of your mobility issues. So if they didn't understand that there was different levels of approach to gyms, then they're just going to go to the standard gym, not get a result, and then get fed up. And I think what happens with a lot of business owners is they have really poor experiences with lower caliber assistants because they want to free up their time. They think of the word assistant, but don't understand there's a spectrum. They go to the lower level one because it's cheap and quick and easy. And then they end up just being more busy and more stressed because they've got a person to manage now. And this person isn't proactive and can't take stuff off them unless they're given very specific instructions. So then they end up busier and then they're like, oh, this assistant stuff doesn't work. But what they need to see in their head is, no, you need a high caliber assistant that's actually going to be an extension of you and take ownership for outcomes, not just do stuff. I think that's the key insight, isn't it?
So you're nailing this. You're doing it properly. You're getting a result for people.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, but
Forgot where we were.
my job is to keep Millsy on track.
We're back in 2012 now. Yeah.
And you're like, right, I've got more business than I know what to do.
Yeah, so
with.
you're right. I was oversubscribed, and I particularly remember I had work for about so me and another half a person. So I was like working a lot of hours.
Yeah.
Because I was charging time for money, and I didn't see any other way to do this. So actually, what I did do before I employed my first team member, Caroline, February 2012, I also got a virtual assistant. So there was a girl in the Regis who said her friend was a single mum, was looking for some work, and she was my kind of bridge.
Right. So that's a bit meta. So you were the EA to all these business owners, but then you've got so much to do that you're using a VA to help you manage your time, to help them manage their time, which makes sense if we look at my PA.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the evolution of the business.
Because it gave me exactly what my PA does now, which was it was like, I agreed a number of hours with her, but it wasn't full time. It gave me that bridge to go to a full time person.
Okay, sweet. So first time was Caroline. And it's typical business owner journey, right? You're like, I'm going to go and do, especially in the service-based business, I work with a lot of electricians now, and they, same thing. It's like, right, I'm going to go and be my own boss. And you get enough work where you're like, I can't do all this. Then you're like, I'll hire somebody, a subby or somebody to help me or an employee. So you hire Caroline, 2012, you two start nailing it together. Then what happens? What's the kind of growth stage over the next few years? What's the journey?
It's always been organic. So it was very similar in that me and Caroline would get absolutely stretched at the seams, and I'd add a third person. So this kind of ladder was my way out. And I was also very blessed, lucky, grateful that I employed, that Caroline was the person that came along, because I basically got a mini me.
Yeah.
And she also got it.
Took all of my maturity not to do mini me in the Austin Powers voice. Yeah. So she got it,
But I didn't have a 9 to 5.
But this is another thing, isn't it, with business owners in service-based businesses, that when you make those first hires, it all seems to be really fun because they're so close to you. They naturally, well, number one, because they're so close to you, if they're not a good values fit, you're going to get rid of them quickly.
Immediately apparent,
and because they're so close to you, they pick up your way of doing things.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
So like early stage hires, you're like, this is great, this is easy, this is fun. But then as you get a bit bigger and you can't be around everybody every day, it starts to get less fun and there starts to be some cracks.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so you got Caroline Mini-Me. Sorry, I interrupted you then. So you got Caroline Mini-Me. And then, just talk us through, we started working together in 2020.
Early 2025.
Early 2025. You made this first hire in 2012. So between 2012 and 25, you've grown quite a lot. And I know you had a bit of a maybe a year or two, maybe more, where you were a bit floating around the same number. So just give everybody like an overarching picture of the growth between 2012 and 25.
The TLDR on that
is that
2012 to 2014. I must have been doing about 100K between me and Caroline.
Okay, so two of you doing 100K, not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was 2014, so...
Well, yeah, adjusting for inflation, that's very good. Yeah. And that's on pretty much paying for hours as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
And most of it wasn't committed as well. It was just like constantly...
Because you were so good.
Churning billing time.
And did you enjoy those two years?
Yeah, 2012 to 2017, I would say, was like
amazing
height of fun, crazy. Oh my God, this has just happened.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, so you and another power player, you're doing 100K between you for a couple of years?
Yeah. 2014. On the cusp of that, I added another person in.
Yeah.
And from then till, I don't know, from then to 2017, I got up to 270K.
How many people?
So there's probably 4 at the max. Towards the end of 2017, 5 of us.
So got up to 5 of you, and then how much revenue was you doing?
About 270.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
And it was. So I will say that in 2014, I discovered, we won't go off on this tangent, but I joined a mastermind, and that really started to help me. It shaped the next 4 or 5 years quite drastically.
What key things changed in the business and in Emma Mills's program in her head after Caroline had left?
I had relied a lot on the two of us just pushing things along by sheer momentum. We were very close. We were both pure grafters. And to get to the next stage, you're not best mates with everybody that works for you. I was with Caroline. I'm with Caroline. So then I had to start to put structure and systems in there to make the things happen that we were just making happen by sheer force beforehand. Yeah,
such a hard stage of business for so many business owners. It's like you've got to where you are by working incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get to this point where you're like, oh, working really, really hard isn't actually getting us anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
It might be working against us, but it feels so unnatural, doesn't it, to take time out of the day-to-day and take time out of the doing to actually look at building process and structure.
Totally. And it's not my natural place. Like, I get it and I know it and I know how to do it, but it's not my natural place that I'm going to shine.
Yeah.
And she was such a character, like a force of, a big character within the business. Like, she was the dream EA in my business. She made all the team members like chat, and the kind of energy that was in the office place with the clients. She could create the relationship. She could do the work really well. So she was kind of like my ideal EA, walking around, living.
I really want a strengths profile, Caroline.
Yeah.
To see what the strengths were that were complementary to yours.
Well, I'd say she's more of an implementer, more of a doer than I am.
Yeah.
So when she left, we had to put these systems and structure in place. And I remember, because she was such a big part of the office, when she left, it was with the existing team, it was quite like a dark cloud over, like, oh my God, what are we going to do without Caroline?
Yeah.
I remember being sat across the desk from Matt. I know we'll talk about Matt later. Matt's been with me for 10 years. He's fantastic, amazing. We've grown together. We get on really well. We're very aligned. I remember being sat opposite him, and I was like, right, somebody needs to do the rota. And he's like, I don't have time to do the rota. I remember going, he tells this story now, and I remember going, well, I have to fucking do it myself then. If that's like, and that was the first time we'd kind of clashed. And he did go, I realised at that point, wow, I'm just being a stupid idiot. Like, I need to get on and do the rota.
Yeah.
Because it was all like this energy of, how are we going to move forward without Caroline? She did so much. She made so much happen.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So when did Caroline leave? 2017.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the kind of milestone 17 to 19? So where were you at by the end of this period? So more systemized. You've left Mastermind to get out of this mindset of I'm learning but not doing.
Yeah.
And you're going rogue for 17, 18, 2 years. Key person leaves. So what happens over that 2 years?
Yeah. So me, Matt, another girl, Amber, we between us agree responsibilities. I'm still doing a lot. I'm still delivering client work at that point.
Where'd you get to by the end of 2019?
Just below like 400k mark. It was 370, 380.
Okay, so we'll just say 400. But at the start you were around 205 of you, 2017, and then you get to the end of 2019.
Yeah.
Taking a lot of the things that you've learned from Nigel, being a business owner, being more entrepreneurial, losing a key member, realizing that you can't have too much key person dependency.
Yeah.
You double the business almost.
Yeah, there was a lot of staff as well. Well, when I say a lot, there was 10 of us.
Oh, okay.
And we definitely, now looking back, we had no real clue on the metrics of what was profitable and what wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just, we have more work, so we must have to employ somebody. We like that kind of chain that kept happening.
And then you get stuck in this loop. I mean, a lot of business owners have been nodding their head listening to this. We've all done it, where you're like, all you think matters is growth. And then you're hiring more people and making more revenue, but actually, for you as an owner, you're like,
there was no difference.
Am I making any more money here? And I seem to be busier than I ever have been before, and I seem to be doing stuff I'm not enjoying.
Yeah.
So you're going through this phase of kind of growth for the sake of growth, where it looks good on paper, but actually, when you drill down into it, maybe it's not that fun.
Yeah.
Okay, and then 2019, what's the kind of milestones? That's how long ago now? 2000?
Yeah, well,
6 years ago.
Yeah, so like the end of 2019, it felt very draining for me.
Okay,
there
you're in the slog phase.
Yeah, there's 10 people. Like, revenue's okay, but again, there's no upside to it for me. I'm doing all the things. Like, we extended our opening hours, evenings and weekends, and I was picking up a lot of those shifts. So I was also doing it in the day, doing it in the evening to answer calls, do stuff.
So you're becoming a slave to the business.
I definitely remember in 2019 going, wow, it's like something different has to change here. And it did, because COVID happened, obviously 3-4 months later. I will also say that what happened at the end of 2019 was that I got a text from a guy that works at Moneypenny.
Yeah.
And he was like, we see what you're doing. I think it's really great. Do you want to come talk to us? And basically, long story short, we talked about them buying my business. Obviously, it's only doing it's just below 400K. It's very small. But what they were really after was me to implement and run a PA arm in there, because they still don't do it now. And they
I don't know this story.
Really?
How do I not know this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They turn away a lot of business daily because they've just never really cracked the code of how to deliver it at scale.
Okay.
So we had this conversation. I went and saw them. It's an amazing place. Still always big fans. I've met them since. And I remember he was like, right, well, let's have a chat. What might it look like? And he sent the NDA. And then literally a week later, we went into lockdown and I lost a third of my clients. And I definitely... everybody's head was everywhere. I just thought...
In the bin.
Yeah.
Emma Mills saying, my head's in the bin.
That is one of my sayings, my head's in the bin. So we lost a third of our clients, furloughed team. It was just me, Matt, Helena, Jake doing the thing.
Dream team.
Yeah, the other 5, 6 were furloughed.
Yeah.
But I do recall having a really deep-seating feeling, even though the conversation in Wrexham with Moneypenny was really, really exciting. I remember driving back from there down the, whatever it is, the A56, the road that's from Wrexham to Cheshire.
It doesn't matter, Emma. It's not important to the listeners. They don't care.
I remember being at the petrol station.
I think it was the A56, guys. Which petrol station?
I think it was BP. No, I remember feeling like it's exciting, but I'm not done with what I think I can achieve, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I had still stuff to make happen and prove, and the 7-figure dream, the 7-figure dream was always on my mind. It was a really big thing for me. I wanted to do 7 figures. Yeah, I wanted to do it on my own. I wanted to make it happen with my team. And so anyway, lockdown happened, lost a third of our clients, and it gave. I mean, the great thing that happened was it gave me the space to, because I stopped being in the weeds so much, because we had a skeleton team delivering the work that we had, and it was pretty simple, the setup of it. It gave me the space to start to create again. And that was video and my TV, which was a video thing that I used to do. And I did a webinar, and I just showed up a lot. And I'd stopped showing up so much in 2019. Actually, that's definitely a learning from it, because I was so stuck in the weeds. So working the Friday night shift to answer the phones, it's the last thing you feel like doing, is then also showing up to add value, email your clients, email your list. So I was definitely less visible in 2019. 2020 gave me pulled the curtain back, gave us time.
COVID did you a favour, really.
Yeah.
Something that stands out to me there is that you were in the phase of business where you're so sucked into the day-to-day and the things that don't energise you, that you were probably getting stressed, tired and burnt out by your business. But then COVID actually forced you to, number one, reconnect with your vision of the 7 figures, but also getting back to what Emma Mills is absolutely amazing at, which is being a KPI, key person of influence, Dan Priestley's language. So it kind of forced you out of being stuck in what you don't like and back into what you do like, which I can just imagine. I see you when you're out with people, and we've done a few trips together. See you on the podcast, and I know that's what brings you to life.
Yeah.
So I think a really important thing for business owners to understand, and that they can take, especially from listening to your story, is that as your business grows, it's going to try and pull you into a lot of different things. And if you get sucked into the trap of spending all of your time on stuff that you don't really enjoy, where you're not adding the most value, that can lead to you having a really stagnant, unhappy, but a really stagnant business, and being a very unhappy person.
You're totally right. And we'd lost the source of what made us fun and enjoyable for me. And I was actually reflecting on this on the ski trip. I was talking about it with Will, that actually what happened in COVID is we got back to the place that we used to be as a team, because we were almost, we were forced to figure out how to be a team when we were all working from home. We were showing up every single Thursday night was my PA's party night on Zoom. We did fancy dress. We did all this stuff. And where I'm going with that is it took me back to that, I guess, that 5 people around a desk of having a good time. The fun had come back into it, because we were all together just trying to figure this thing out and get through it. And we got through it really, really well.
Yeah.
The business just we couldn't even keep up with it out of COVID. But yeah, it gave us the space.
What you're saying is, when you were doing more of the stuff that you enjoyed, you got really, really busy.
Yeah.
All right. So 2019, feeling a bit stuck, feeling a bit drained. COVID comes around. COVID kind of forces you back into the stuff you love. So you've gone through this stage of being stuck in all the crap of a business that stops you doing what you're good at. Then you've got back to what you enjoy, which for Emma is definitely being like the leader, being the key person of influence, inspiring people into this service.
Yeah.
And then what's the journey from there then? And when did you get to 7 figures? Because I feel like we've like kind of washed over that.
Yeah. No, we haven't, because we haven't got there yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No,
Mike, we haven't got there yet.
I hadn't got there by 2019.
Okay,
So we were just like something like late threes. So March 2020, we lose a third of our business and like have to rebuild it back up.
Joy.
So I think by the end of 2020, we'd done like 450.
Yeah.
And then basically 2021, we did 720.
Well, what happened there?
By the end of 2022, we did just below 1 million. No, we didn't. We did like 1.1. 2023, we did like 1.2 or 1.3. So that's like was the growth phase over that.
So what's the key things that are happening from 450k in like kind of 2020 to 720 and 1.1 million over the next few years?
What were the things? So I guess there's a couple of things. So definitely going back to, I started to show up consistently, and that was a real key part of, I guess, clients, seeing us, knowing us, remembering us.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? What do you mean like I started showing up consistently?
I was putting out a video every single week, would be emailing our list 2 or 3 times. I was showing up on social media. When I look back, so we've just employed a videographer, content creator, and we were looking at my Instagram and all of my highlights, the little circles that you like save.
Yeah.
I was looking at them because they massively need updating, but it's all from 2020. Flipping heck, I was like leading the way, like I'm doing a webinar on Wednesday. I don't even recognize the girl because like, why have you stopped doing? Like when people realize we did all this stuff and it was good, and then you just stopped doing it.
Yeah. We've all done that. We all said, "Oh, how did you get that client? I did this." You doing that still? Like, no. Why not? I have no idea. There's a highlight on there for the team. We were showing up with the team loads. I was talking about clients that we were on board, and I was very, very visible. I do think there's a little bit of like, I don't know if luck is the right word, but kind of serendipity, that just in the way that when I started my business in 2008, Tim Ferriss had wrote 4-Hour Workweek, virtual assistant was being talked about. Yep. In 2020, everybody had to work from home. So no longer was it like, I couldn't work with somebody virtually, because we all did. We all worked virtually. So I think like the barrier was broken down of... But also you have to, when you work hard and long, you tend to get more lucky.
Yeah. Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the listeners are going to be banging their heads going, so basically when Emma is enjoying it and being the key person of influence and being out there, the business makes loads of money. And when she gets sucked into the operations and stressed and unhappy, it stops making money.
Yeah.
Or doesn't make as much. Okay, cool.
And there is another key part missing from that I did. So I started working with a coach, a mentor, Martin Norbury.
Yep.
And the one thing that this like additional layer that was brought in that I'd never had before was a rhythmic growth plan that we stuck to.
Yep.
We called it the 60-month plan. So it was like 2020 to 2025. And honestly, like, as I remember, we crafted it. I was sat on my balcony, lived in an apartment in the city centre. He was on Zoom and I was like, want to do this by 2025. He's like, right, well, let's just create a rhythmic plan. And I'd heard Nigel talk about rhythmic sales and marketing load. I'd heard about, the thing you need to crack is a rhythmic acquisition of clients. Mm-hmm. But also operationally, my PA had never gone, well, this month we want to do 10 or 2 or 5. It was just like, oh God, we've got 5. How brilliant. Matt is my ops manager. Matt, can you please like sort it out so we can onboard 5? Oh, we've only got 1 this month. Oh, we've got 10 next month. Can you sort that out too?
Yeah.
So this rhythmic plan of what we actually wanted to achieve, and when we did put that in place, we just started to hit it month in, month out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So,
and just the final bit.
Yeah.
Everybody in the business knew about the 60-month plan.
Yeah.
It was like the term was,
alignment.
We know what the 60-month plan is, and we're hitting it.
Yeah. What's the marginal gains book where they talk about the rowing team, and it's all like, we're all focused on hitting this speed. It's the GB cycling squad. We're all focused on hitting this speed.
Yeah, the 1% gains.
Because we're all focused on it, we're going to do whatever we can to keep getting better. Okay, so I mean, it's really hard to do a short overall summary of your business because you've had it for so long and you've been through so many stages. What I do think though is that there's so many different parts of your journey and chapters. And I think business owners are going to listen to this and be like, I've been there. Yeah, I got that. Yeah. Okay. I understand that. I think, and I also think or know that people will listen to this and they're going to listen to certain stages and go, I'm there right now.
Yeah.
And they need to take a lesson from what Emma shared to get myself fixed.
And I would also say, like, I know it's been 18 months and I hope the fact that it's been so long is helpful to some people because, like, we're not the overnight success.
18 years, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, 18 years.
When you said 18 months, I was like, what's she talking about?
Oh, sorry, 18 years.
That's a lot that happened in 18 months.
No, I hope it is helpful because there's no, like, I don't see any part of that journey that I could have speeded up. I could have speeded it up, but I realised that I had to go through those different parts now to learn what I knew to get to the next stage.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's so important to... I think it's a mistake to think that you can skip these stages, isn't it? You can like listen to a podcast or read a book and go like, well, okay, I don't need to go through that. By the way, I thought this because I love reading. I'm a geek and I read all the business books in my first business. So I was like, I got this. I got the code in my head. Like I'm probably arrogant, really. Like thinking like, okay, I've been in the army. I've read the books. Like I don't need to make other mistakes now. And actually, that made me miserable when I did start making the mistakes because I was telling myself this story that I was just going to get through it perfectly. And I just realised now, because I still make loads of mistakes now, that it's a rite of passage. Like if you want to go into business, get comfortable with going through all of the challenges and accept that they're going to happen.
Yeah.
Because you can't learn them in a book. You have to do it.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for it now because if I think about my skill set and the kind of challenges that we have in the business now, I know that none of that would have happened if I hadn't been through what I've been through, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, take us up to kind of more present day then. So you've, I mean, the smallest part of that story is we kind of went from 450 to 1 million just by being a bit more specific and focused.
Yeah.
Well, what's like present day scenario then? So what's the next kind of milestone?
Yeah. So
or the next chapter of your business journey?
So Daniel Pusey has a phrase called crossing the desert, and definitely 2023 onwards, probably from 2022, but 2022 onwards, we have found ourselves in that. And I think like some of the key learnings, we've crossed that £1 million mark and maintained it consistently, but we haven't had continual like quick growth.
You're kind of stagnant again.
Stagnant is a good word.
Yeah.
Stagnant in a good way, like we maintain 100k months.
Yep.
But what I guess we've been through this phase of, you go from 5 to 10 people, everyone's having a good time. And then we went to, we're now at 35 people in total. But as we went from like 15 to 20, 25 to 30, my gosh, that was the biggest rude awakening to me and Matt ever.
Yeah.
Of culture, of being able to track culture, of putting systems in to make that happen, of realizing that you don't just understand now that everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Beforehand, we was all sat around a desk and we knew who was in a bad mood or not. Now all these other things happen. And that phrase that Daniel has where he says, when you get to kind of 15, 20 people plus, people start arguing, they fall out, they sleep with each other, And I remember the first time I heard him say that, I was like, oh, no way. It's like, oh, my God, it's so true. Like, all this stuff happens. It's hard enough running a business. But then when you've got 15, 20, 25, 30 people, my gosh, it's like next level. So I think what we've been through is this journey of growing, but also trying to keep my PA with the secret sauce that it had of energy and culture.
Yeah.
And we struggled with that massively, I would say, in 2024, maybe 2023, 2024.
Yeah.
And that's definitely very much where a big part of what you've helped us with as well. Because I just kind of forgot how it can be and what it was like. And I think as you've said many times, kind of our nicety, that being nice that works well when there's 10 of you doesn't work anymore when you are what I would call a grown-up proper business. Yeah.
And it's interesting for me, like hearing you explain it like this, because obviously we talked loads about the business. So I think I've worked with you guys over a year?
Yeah, over a year.
But like being able to have this big picture view, it kind of sounds like it's actually like a very similar phase that you went through. When was it? Around 2019. it's kind of like the same thing again. It's like, okay, you got out of that and you doubled the business. Like you got out of this kind of funk of like, I'm stuck in it. I'm not showing up. I'm either tired and unhappy or doing stuff I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
You're like, give yourself a kick up the arse, go and get out there again. And the business goes through this massive growth phase. And then now you kind of like, you're consistently over £1 million business, big team, which again, I do think we just kind of like washed over. You're very blasé with your achievements. And maybe it's the same thing again. It's like, okay, now I'm back there again. I'm a bit stuck in this funk and feeling a bit drained by it. I think it's a normal thing for business owners to go through. But it's interesting with you how many times you've been. Well, no, not because of a fault of Emma, because you've taken this business from, and you were a 26-year-old when you started this business.
Yeah.
How old are you now? You're allowed to ask him.
45 in
looking
April.
very good for your age,
Thanks.
by the way. She doesn't look 40. She looks younger than me, and I'm not 40 yet. So, yeah, I think it's a mammoth journey. So go on then. So now let's go into the second phase where we talk about how amazing Mike is and everything that he's done.
Yeah.
Only jokes. So, but let's go to that stage now. So obviously this is me. This is great for me now because we get to talk about the next stage where you got stuck, which is where you've got quite a big team now. What do you think were the key factors or numbers or milestones, whatever it might be, that put you into this stage where you were kind of feeling stuck and stressed again? Was it the size of the team? Was it the amount of revenue? Was it what was going on?
Well, it was the size of the team coupled with the wrong people in the wrong seats who were managing. And we made this mistake, which I'll never make again. And now I realise how ridiculous is the wrong word, because we were doing what we knew how to do. But we did a lot of promoting internally because somebody was good at their job. And then I remember saying to one girl, oh, such a body's going on maternity. Will you take over as team leader? Because she's like a shit hot EA.
Yeah.
And it just seemed so natural to me. And it was completely the wrong move. And I confused people being good at one role as being good at then managing a team of people.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of promoting from within. It was the size. And also, we did far too much of, Nigel has this phrase, you get what you tolerate.
Yeah.
And we confused being nice with tolerating shit, and it compounded and compounded and compounded.
Okay, so you've got really good at focusing on growth. You've worked with Martin Norbury, you've built a growth plan, and that's led to you taking that business to over £1 million quid of revenue, which is absolutely fantastic. And then you've got the team up to what roughly size is it in 2022 and now? So floating around the same number, right?
It's kind of like stayed around 30-ish.
Okay,
it's gone up a bit, it's gone down a bit. But
so we're around £1 million up and down a bit, and then we're around 30 people up and down a bit, and that's the key distinguishing factors from about 2022, and then everything just starts to feel a bit stuck again.
Massively so.
And the key thing that you're highlighting as being one of the reasons for that is people.
It was 100% people.
Yep.
We didn't have any slowdown in leads. We didn't have any slowdown in clients wanting to join us,
Yep.
or goodwill, or good reputation and stuff happening. It was 100% the people internally.
Okay, and did you recognise that? Like, what happened? What did you do to start making progress on this and realise, okay, this is what's going wrong? Like, what happened now?
I'll be honest. I think that I'm very strong on my gut, and I think the whole time I had a gut feel that this wasn't right, but I don't want to say like I did lack some confidence. We basically had this influx, like we grew very quickly. So we recruited a lot of people quite quickly.
Yep.
And we had an influx. My team also
Yep.
has historically been of a younger age demographic.
Yep.
So let's say like just after COVID, I've got early 20s to late 20s people coming into the business.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only say it as like we had this massive shift in definitely one thing a lot of people talking about, mental health and anxiety, and this was a new thing that we had to manage.
Yep.
And it kind of overtook the business at one point. It went so far from, and I'm not saying like the other extreme is fine, but it went so far from like we want to, we're getting stuff done for clients. If I have to stay till 6, it's fine.
Yeah.
We went so far the other way to everything had to have a system, a rule, a way to make sure people did it correctly, you don't mess with my work-life balance. It went so far to the other extreme.
Yeah.
It wasn't sustainable either.
That you couldn't deliver for clients.
And I definitely throughout this period of time, like I was doubting myself to go, do I just not get it? That is this now how you run a bigger business? Everything has to be so. They clock in at 9, they go at 5. There's nothing that's like ever outside of that.
Yep.
They'll only do this, they won't do that. They're telling me now what they'll do and what they won't. Like,
Yeah.
Sounds a bit stupid.
Yep.
I don't know if it does sound stupid, but it and yeah, I don't know. We kind of like snowballed a little bit to like so many of these kind of weird scenarios popping up of mental health and
how did that leave you feeling as a business owner then? So feeling like, okay, I can't.
Wasn't enjoying it anymore.
Well,
The source had gone of like we're all moving together on this mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it in a nutshell. It kind of it kind of culminated in, I don't know if I told you this, but earlier last year I had a hate campaign against me on Glassdoor.
Right.
So there was a group of girls that created a WhatsApp group, and they were every single Saturday all leaving a review. Every Saturday, it would come up every Saturday, and my ops manager Matt was losing his mind because like we were on a 1-star
Just
review.
whilst they were still working for you?
No,
right.
They'd
Okay.
kind of left across the previous 6 months for various reasons.
Yeah. And you were the worst person in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was a narcissist, and I'd said that I didn't want to be in the business anymore, and who does she think she is, and she needs to stop doing a podcast, and she needs to concentrate on running a business, and all of this shizzle that...
Stuff that happens when you let people become too entitled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is not like about, oh my God, woe is me, but it's just about, I kind of like lost my, what's the right phrase? I just kind of like lost my own confidence of like, no, this is what I'm doing is
Start doubting yourself.
Yeah. And I started doubting myself when my intentions have only ever been like, I just want a really happy team, want to do good things. And it kind of like flipping the car went off the road and was very
I think this is like why growing a team to that size is so, and growing your business to that size is so hard for a lot of business owners, because you have to go through realizing that you're going to have people that dislike you. Like you're going to have to piss some people off to keep this business growing and to make it what it is. You're going to have some staff that hate you. You're going to have some customers that leave you a bad review.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do well in business without ever getting to that size, without ever having to go through that. And it can be really tough. I think it's a very unique experience. I mean, I'm ex-military. I've worked on deep sea fishing boats. I've been to Afghanistan. But the most stressed I've ever been in my life was when I owned my first business, which was a CrossFit gym, doing about 200 grand a year in revenue with 4 staff. And I'm like, well, what's this about? And what people don't understand is the unique psychological burden of being a business owner.
Yeah.
I say burden. I mean, if you learn how to handle it, it's not a burden, but it does affect an Emma Mills or a Mike Jones or whoever when somebody goes on Glassdoor and says this person is a narcissist.
Yeah.
Even if they are talking complete codswallop, which they are, because I know you're not a narcissist, it still affects you. And I know the celebrities know this because they get hate online, but it's the same with marketing, right? You put yourself out there, which you need to grow your business, and some people are going to go, who are you? I had a guy once on I think it was Instagram, tell me that I was an imposter, like an American guy. I was like, all right, why is that? And he's like, well, you don't have any background to talk about this stuff. And he's like, who do you think you are? I was like, well, I'm ex-army intelligence. So I told him this little bit of a story. And then he started ripping, and I said, I was attached to special forces because I worked with them for 2 years. And then he was like, so you were in the special forces? I was like, no, I didn't say that. I was attached to anyway. Then he started ripping into me for that, saying that I was, yeah. And then he started commenting on all my posts. And I'm like, whoa, what is wrong with this guy? I just blocked him in the end. Like, that's the beauty of social. You can block people, but it's definitely a unique challenge. And if you let it get into your head too much and you start doubting yourself, then
and it was just like the kind of dripping tap that just didn't stop. And I think we then flipped from constantly saying like, oh, what can I do? How can I support you? Which we still do now, but there was never this is the job. This isn't good enough. This is what we need as well. This is what the business needs. It's not just all about, like, obviously you've taught me a lot about it needs to be all 4 things: the owner, the bank, the clients, the team.
I wanted to talk about that.
Well, you can say
just drawing it, the core 4. Go on.
The core four.
Yeah.
The core four had completely flipped on its side and was in
Well,
the bin.
so, and I think this is important because what I've seen from working with you guys, and I see it with lots of other businesses as well, is you'd been stuck in that stage. And I don't think living in the UK, by the way, does not help with this because our government and politics makes this issue 10 times worse. But you guys have definitely gone through a few years of just being, how do I word this? Too nice to the employees at the expense of the business.
Yeah.
Right. So at the expense of the business. So you were letting the business and you as an owner not get what you want from it or not prosper in the way it should to try and keep everybody else happy.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's an element of we want to have happy staff, but if we start to do things for the staff that come to the detriment of the business, that's a major red flag. Anyway, I think you'd spent so long doing that you'd got stuck in that rut, and it's taken you.
Yeah.
I really think it's taken you. I think we're only seeing it now. I think we're only seeing like
it's taken 12 months.
Your head of ops, Matt, really come into like fruition now with being focused on what's good for the business and for the team, and sticking to his guns with it. And that's taken it 6 to 12 months
for both of us. Yeah, we both had like a cathartic experience. I think via you, we've like unburdened everything that's been holding us back the last couple of years. And sometimes, because when you're in it and you like see the same like four walls of the office, and you know you're dealing with the same kind of things that happen, it's easy to forget like what's possible. That it used to be like this, and you kind of think that's not possible anymore. And I think one of the key things is that you showed us that we weren't completely
narcissistic.
Yeah,
you weren't being arseholes to want your business to work.
Yeah,
yeah.
You definitely have like reminded us massively, and it's taken a long time, I think, for this penny to drop now. That everything we want is possible and still enjoy the business, have a team that takes the piss out of each other, has a laugh, but also we get really good work done. They all care about the clients. Yeah. Like I think me and Matt had both forgotten that was possible.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's go through. Let's just go through some of the things that we've done together to help you get out of this place where you've got a good business, but a business that is not really growing anymore and has become stressful for you and for your head of ops, right? So for your leadership team. So the first thing really, I remember was the core four, which is, right, before we do anything, let's zoom out and look at the business and go, is it a win-win? Mm-hmm. And the core four are the business owner, Emma Mills, right? The customers, your team, and the bank account. And it's got to be in the middle. It's got to work for all four of those. Where do you think, from memory, where do you think you were at with that?
It was heavily weighted to the team.
Yep.
Heavily weighted.
Yep.
And then probably like there was a slight weighting to the clients.
Yep, I agree.
And then bank and me, there was nothing.
Yeah, so I'm Emma's head was in the bin. And to me, it was obvious, but you've been stuck in the... And it's really interesting, actually, because I reckon that Glassdoor experience is probably what's put the blinkers on you for that, because you've got this thing around you, these people saying this. You've had a hate campaign against you. So that's going to have had a massive emotional impact on you, which has then kept you...
It did on Matt as well.
Yeah.
Because we then literally, he started having job interviews. We were like recruiting generally, and people would go, I've seen these reviews online. What does it mean? What is it about? Like, it concerns me. Like, he was then starting to get it in the recruitment process. So I think, and then put us both together and we were like, we're doomed.
We're doomed, yeah. But there's two heads in the bin. But you know, you've had... It's not for no reason, is it? Like, that's a pretty hardcore smear campaign that those guys were doing. So to me, it was obvious. It was like, well, you haven't put your prices up in years, or not enough for it to be profitable. Mm-hmm. You're not prioritizing profit in the business because you feel guilty thinking about the business, and you're doing stuff you don't enjoy and getting sucked into things every day that you shouldn't be doing. And essentially it's because we're not being clear on what we want from the team and what we want for the business.
Very much so. That I think that's really like emphasis on not being clear with what we want from the team. We'd forgotten to keep doing that because we were so
fearful of being called a narcissist if you do that.
Fearful, totally fearful. That is like the word. We were totally fearful of going, is this too much? Are we asking too much? Are we,
Yeah. Okay, so we got clear on the core four. What changed after that then? So what started to change after we started work together? Go for that exercise, get really clear and be really honest about what needs to happen in this business to make it a win-win. Can you remember what happened after that?
So the things that stand out after that was that we got really, so my leadership team, which head of PA, head of call, my EA and me, we started to get really clear. There was work that needed to be done on the numbers that we were looking at, reporting on, delving into every single week. Like some of them were not correct. And also I was still being too nice and not delivering directly to my leadership team when things were good or when things were bad and holding them to account on that.
Yeah, one of the common themes I see with all of the businesses I work with is this fear of conflict. And I really don't think modern politics is helping with this, especially in the UK. I think we've been made to believe consistently by social media that to disagree with somebody or have a difficult conversation with somebody makes you a bad person.
Correct,
You've got people on the internet saying, oh, you're a bigot because you don't agree with what I'm saying. You're like, well, what? Or you're a fascist because you believe in that person. And that has an impact. And what that's leading to is people being fearful and feeling uncomfortable about having debate. But you can't have a healthy team or a healthy business if you and your leadership team aren't willing to have debate, if you, Emma Mills, aren't willing to hold your team to account, have difficult conversations with them when they're not performing or hitting numbers, like it can't happen. So we have to do that. And I'm glad that you started to do that, get those systems in place and hold people accountable.
And I think that's happened over. So I think we properly started spending a lot of time together, like from last April. So we've had like 3 quarters together. And that over that period of time, it's only refined and gotten better. Like I think it's taken the 3 quarters to properly like peel back all of the excuses, the reasons why it's not happening, like pulling back all of the bullshit, getting so clear on the numbers. There's just no room for anything but black and white and ones and zeros. Like that's probably like happened over the 9 months. And now, I mean, I'm sure we'll come on to it, but I mean, we just had like our best January ever. Like we're definitely coming out of the other side of it.
I think the numbers have to be there because if you don't have your numbers and you don't have accountability systems, emotion will take over and get in the way. And that's not just me saying that for Emma, because we've joked about you being emotional, but for we're all emotional. We express it in different ways, but none of us wake up in the morning and think, I can't wait to go to work today and see if Steve's hitting his targets. Like none of us think like that. So we don't want to have that conflict. So we need the numbers clear, black and white, and we need to remove the emotion by having those numbers so that we can just have those conversations very, very black and white. And the key thing is if we are all on the same page, it doesn't matter if the numbers aren't where they need to be because we can fix it. But the worst thing we can do is not talk about them. So you said it took 3 quarters. What things did we do over that just big picture, over that 3 quarters to embed these behaviours and to get you guys out of this funk of not holding each other accountable, not having the hard conversations?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is that I had never, ever had my leadership team in a room for a whole day off-site to plan the business for the next quarter. It just never happened until we did it.
So quarterly planning, in person, off-site, whole day, get out of the madness of the business. Get clear on the same page.
Because that gave us the day to bit by bit peel back any of the conversations, any of the bullshits, the excuses from me as well of like why things might or might not be happening. It was very different to every Monday we have a 90-minute meeting. But in that 90 minutes, it's not the same as having like this day away to properly go what's worked well, what hasn't, why, and understanding people's different perspectives on that. Yeah,
amazing. So you did the quarterly planning, full person in day. Anything else to kind of make sure that we do what we said we're going to do in that quarterly planning? And by the way, we're judging how we're tracking how successful we're being with this structure, not just by the numbers, but by how big the meeting room is. Have you noticed? We've got to make it a little bit bigger each time, haven't we?
Oh, sorry, the meetings
we've gone from this tiny little box, and I was like, Emma, this room is too small, and the last one was pretty big.
Yeah, we had a view over Oxford Street and Oxford Road in Manchester. Where
are we going to end up? What's the biggest, most impressive? Canary Wharf. Yeah. Okay, that's the aim. That's the aim for the end of 2026. All right, so quarterly planning. So that gets you all clear and on the same page. Anything else that's helped you like keep focused and hold each other accountable?
We've got more laser focused on the numbers. Like I don't know if you remember, but when you first joined us, we had a scoreboard that was extremely large with many, many numbers on it. And that got refined down into 10 or 12 across the business. And then we had 2 like mini scoreboards for the different departments, but the data was more simple. You could easily see.
Yeah, I remember you showing me the numbers you were going through. I was like, how are you doing that?
I mean, it was taking the whole meeting to go through them.
Yeah, and again, I think it's an overcorrect, isn't it? I think like, but you know, like a lot of business owners aren't number minded at the start. Like they just get on with it and make stuff happen, and then you're like, oh, okay, you need to track the numbers, and you end up with this massive database, and you try and analyze it. It's too much, and then you go, okay, well, what numbers do we need to know, and how do we drill that down and focus on this? So like really clear on the numbers, built a scorecard which you guys look at every week. And by the way, and I say this to Laura, my partner, I'm like, what I love about Emma is like your implementation. Like you'll do a thing. If I show you a thing or you do a thing and you're like, that's going to help the business.
We've done
like,
the thing.
You don't have to check her. Like you go back and she's done it. And one of the first things I shared with you guys was the PDP process, like a structured way of checking in with your employees that everybody can benefit from. And I remember showing it to you and the team, and I was going to the snow dome, so I popped in and said hello. Yeah. And then like, I think I spoke to you about 4 months later. I know we'd started doing work, but I forgot about showing you guys the PDP. And you're like, oh, I'm doing everyone's like 3rd round of PDPs. And this has come up. And I'm like, bloody hell. Like, you guys just implement. You just do stuff. Your weekly meetings, you do them super consistently. Your quarterly planning, it's already booked in for the year this year, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So weekly meetings, really good quality scorecard.
Yeah.
Anything else?
So just to clarify, prior to us meeting you, we did already have a Monday meeting with a scorecard, but we just said it was too big. But one thing that we did not do well at all, and now since I saw you run our meetings, we never got to the really meaty issue. We would talk about, Sandra in call.
Coffee's run out.
The thing that she's just said yesterday that's really pissed off Bob, and now they're having a night. We don't employ anybody called Sandra and Bob. But
that was very quick, Sandra. I was thinking that's who's Sandra and Bob, and I was like, she's made those names up. It's very good. Alias.
But we would be talking about, when you can get into that rut of giving the B players all the energy and the chat in the room, and you're not actually
squeaky
giving
wheel syndrome.
Yeah. So what we do so differently now is we go through all of the scorecards, all of the data. Are there any big headlines? And it's like, right, so from the data, what are the key issues? Not like the little argument that happened yesterday, not that somebody's called in sick and now we're going through this process. It's like, what is the issue from the data?
Yeah.
And we weren't doing that. We were having chats of whatever was the most annoying thing that came up around the room to somebody, or recency bias or...
Yeah, it springs the quote to mind that I like to say a lot, which is the main thing is keeping the main thing the main thing, and that is a discipline, and that filters down from good quarterly planning. Like, okay, what are we actually focusing on? And then good quality weekly meetings, which force you to, and good quality scorecard, which takes time and energy, right, to figure that thing out.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's done is it gets more and more painful when every week you go, okay, so what are the actual issues? Right, so week 1, we don't have enough leads coming into this department.
Yeah.
Right, okay, week 2, what's the main thing? What's the issue you got? We don't have enough leads coming into this department. You're at week 7, you're like, what's the main thing? We don't have enough. Like, because we're only using the data now, it's like, is somebody going to do something about this? What are we actually doing? Or we're not really doing anything, are we?
Yeah. And it forces you to focus on that stuff, though, doesn't it? Hearing it again and again. And again, when you're hearing the numbers week on week, and it's like, it's the same issue. It's like, okay, well, we need to fix this. Whereas otherwise, it's easy to avoid it. It's easy to just let it slip for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah. And the other thing I think that's come out of it, unless you're going to...
No, go for it.
Wrap it into like the quarterly, the process that we went through, especially on the quarterly planning, which is where we decided what like the key OKRs are, the key projects that we want to happen. It became very apparent. And I definitely didn't believe it the first quarter we worked together. I was just like, yeah, we can do it. It's fine. Don't worry, Mike. We had a really bad problem of giving ourselves too much to do.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Our list of things was big, and I think that I can do everything.
Yeah.
As most business owners do. I can figure it out. I can sort it out. And then it was very, very apparent in the first quarter we worked together when nothing was turning green. And it's like, have you worked on this, worked on that? And I remember kind of in the third quarter we worked together, I was starting to feel very stressed about it, because I was like, well, and almost in my head, I'm like, well, of course I haven't done it because I've got all of these things to do. Like, it's way too much. But it was only by kind of like properly holding a mirror up to it.
Yep.
It was like, this was impossible.
Yep.
we would have been much better just to each pick 3 things, get them done, move on. 3 things, and we were just trying to do it all.
Yeah, and if it gives you sanity, it's pretty much the same story with any business I go into.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, you set the OKRs, and everybody thinks they can achieve way more than what they can. They don't really, and we all get in that goal setting frame of mind, don't we? We're like, well, this is exciting, and if I do that and do that and do that, the business is going to be amazing. And we forget that I've also got all this stuff that I do on the day to day. Maybe I can get rid of some of that. Maybe I can hire an EA, but actually, that's going to take a bit of time. So we forget we've got a day job. We forget how long stuff takes. Typically, entrepreneurially minded people are very overly optimistic about how quickly things take to get done. So that's very normal, but it's a key learning for you to go through again, isn't it? It's like, okay.
Yeah. And it was super helpful for me and the team to go, oh, actually, the reason why we're not getting all of these things done is there's literally, we're planning too many things. There isn't enough time. And it cleared a bit of the fog of, do you know, I don't know, sometimes your team members will say, I haven't got time to do that. But your initial thing will be...
Everybody on your team has said that.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah. And they do, and they do on all the other teams as well.
But your initial thought can be, right, well, I'm sure you are just saying that you can get it done, but actually,
when you
there wasn't enough time.
End, yeah. And we had a really good experience with Matt, didn't we? In I think it was Q3. No, it might have been halfway through last year actually. And basically, your org chart, which is really normal. Like, I think there was too much going to Matt. He's trying to run 2 departments, and instead of actually getting clear on that, he's just carrying it on his shoulders, which means he's pissed off, which then means he's not getting the results, which means you're pissed off. And then it kind of like, when you look at it through a lens, it's like, well, it's coming back to you, Matt. And then when we sat and talked about it, he's like, well, I've got way too much to do. We're like, well, now's the time to talk about that. And actually from that and identifying that and getting clear on that. And I do think this is why trust is so important in a leadership team, because if you're comfortable being honest with each other, you can have these conversations and fix things. Whereas if you're not, people hide stuff. They're like, they haven't got the time to do all that stuff, but they don't want to admit it because they think it's going to look bad or Emma's going to jump on them. So that's one of the great things about the way you guys do your quarterly plan as well. Like, so open and honest.
Yeah.
And out of that came a decision that Matt was going to spend less time on call, and we were going to hire somebody for that. To which Matt hired Tyler, who absolutely like transformed that department. And now Matt has got so much time to focus on PA. He's making that 10 times better. So that wouldn't have come about if we weren't having these good conversations.
Definitely.
And bringing just the shit to the surface. It's like, you've just got too much to do, mate.
Yeah.
But you didn't know that until you planned it and written it down and got specific on it. And I think what happens in most teams is people are not really writing this down and visualizing it. So they're trying to do all this stuff and they're just stressed because I'm not doing a good job. And when actually you spit it out, you're either genuinely not doing a good job or you're trying to do too much, or maybe a bit of both. And normally it's you trying to do too much.
Yeah, that was definitely our problem.
And it won't come out if we don't write it down.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So quarterly planning, really getting focused on what our capacity is, going through 3 quarters of just like trying to do too much and seeing loads of red and getting upset and being like, what the fuck's going on? But that's forced you to realise what needed to be done and what the actual bottlenecks were. And then anything else that you can think of, like big picture, that's really helped, and where are you at now?
Yeah, I mean, massively. We've skipped over the fact that we made a huge operational change with you, which was, I was very aware for a long time that time for money was a massive, well, it's a bottleneck to anybody's business.
Yep.
But
so charging per hour of your...
having an hourly rate, it also caused a lot of grief with, you know, things taking longer than expected and who's paying for that, and clients don't want shock bills, and then we don't want to absorb all this time we've spent on stuff. I also knew one of the things that I did last year was spend way too much time worrying about AI and its impact, which you know. Yeah,
you've only mentioned it a few times. You're right, Emma, and they want it. What about AI?
Spent way too much time worrying about that, but I did know that with AI, it was going to be easy to, well, it's not easy to do things because it's as good as whatever your knowledge of creating the AI. But I knew that performance and outcomes and goals and impact are what people really want. People don't really want 30 hours of time.
And when we were talking about you in 2008 to 2012, like that's what you were known for. You get people a result. They don't care about how much time you're spending on them. Literally the start of your journey was... I went on my own and then started working with the guy that I worked with before on a consultancy basis or on a fraction or whatever we use.
Fractional,
And then you were working less time and billing more and you were both happy.
Yeah.
So it's like literally getting back to your roots, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you say? The more The more we change, the more stays the
Oh,
same.
it's Matt's frame that is saying that the more we, oh my God, what is it? It's the more things change, the more they stay the same.
There we go.
Yeah,
We
that's
get there.
it.
We get
Because
there.
literally so many times in the past year,
Yeah.
you've gone, well, what about X, Y, and Z? And Matt will go, oh my God, we used to do this and we stopped doing it.
Well, I was sat in your. I've done a lot of stuff with my PN. I was sat in your boardroom, looking at systemizing or building a process for like the staff onboarding, and then I can't remember if you showed it to me or I saw it like this thing sticking out the desk. I was like, "What's that over there?" Oh, it's a staff onboarding handbook that I did 3 years ago, like buried underneath. And I was like,
All these videos in Kajabi.
why am I writing stuff when you've already done this? And you kind of like, oh yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's because in the 2023,
Got too
2024
soft, stopped
period,
holding
people were like, oh, it's not good that anymore. We shouldn't use it. Then you watched it and you were like,
It's mint.
it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? How burned you were by that smear campaign and how that then had a detriment. But it's hard, right? And I think the key lesson for anybody listening there is like stick to your guns.
Yeah.
Stick to your guns.
I would
Stay
give that
focused
advice
on
all day long.
stick to your guns. Stay focused on your vision. If people tell you you're a scumbag, then ignore them.
Yeah. Well, I just realised, like, I guess you stick your head above the parapet, you're going to get some shit, aren't you? Like, it would be unusual, I think, if there's any business owner that has not got any kind of story where either a customer or a team member or somebody hasn't been not, has been against them.
Somebody rubbing their name in the mud.
Yeah, totally. And that is definitely my key learning. Stick with your vision, your guns. It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, we have a small one of my clients, Malcolm, ex-client really, but I still work with his team. Him and I run a mastermind kind of little group community thing for electricians. It's £99 a month. It's not a big investment. They get loads of support from it. We go on events. They get and do quarterly planning. It's like it's ridiculous what they get for the money. And we had a guy in there who decided to leave. I told him he was leaving actually because he was being a dick. And he basically told, like, I don't even know this guy really. And he basically like sent me like these WhatsApp messages. I think I sent them to you.
Yeah.
Telling me that I was the biggest scumbag on the earth, that I was
not delivered on what you said you were going to
delivered
deliver
on. That I was, and then he said things like, "It doesn't surprise me the way that you're reacting to this." And I'm literally giving you money back and said, "See you later." So he just, and if I'd have taken that to heart, and when I had the first business, I did, but I think, it's just part of the journey, isn't it? It's like if you're not ready to have people rub your name in the mud, then you probably shouldn't go into business.
Totally.
And if you let it affect you too much,
totally,
put it on the back foot.
Yeah.
And I do think, without blowing smoke at my own arse, I actually think one of the most powerful things that I've done with my PA is just help you and Matt get your confidence back and sticking to your vision.
I totally agree.
I actually think outside of all the structure, I think it's just been repeated conversations around you're really good at what you do, your vision's amazing, hold people accountable to it and it'll work. That's it. I think that's the main thing.
I do agree. We obviously we were talking. You did help us with this massive operational change, which is we stopped charging time for money, and that it was huge internally because we had to get the team aligned, and we would not have done that as quickly as we did without you, for sure. We'd still be talking about it now.
It's interesting because making that operational change is a result of believing in your vision and making the business a win-win. You obsessing over AI, and obviously you need to think about AI, and it's your job as an entrepreneur to be aware of it and to be thinking about it and to be planning for it. But I think your energy being consumed by that was, again, you lacking confidence in your vision. So you're like, what thing do I need to react to? So both of those things come about through not being aligned to your vision or getting more aligned to your vision.
Yeah,
and having belief in yourself.
Cool.
What have I got in my notes? So I wanted to read a message from Matt. And I've asked his permission. So this is Emma's head of ops, Matt. And
this is like what Stephen Bartlett did with Tony Robbins the other week.
Is it?
He's like, I want to read you a message from this guy that works with you.
Oh.
It was about how he changed his life. Is this the message like that?
No. You've set this up. You've not set this up for success. So this really made me proud when Matt sent this through. Like genuinely proud for Matt, proud for you, but proud for the business as well. And I think I'm realizing why now. Number one, I just love the fact that he's like the impact that he's having now. But not saying that he wasn't having an impact before, but like I'm taking the business forward again instead of being floating around.
And he's also enjoying it, I think,
which makes me happy.
He's made an impact for the past 10 years he's worked for me, but now it's like an impact and he's enjoying it and we can see the fruits of it.
Yeah, I think obviously that's what makes me happy, like seeing you two, because you two are the longest standing people. Obviously you are, but Matt's been there for years as well. And it was very apparent to me when I came. It wasn't actually until I started working with you, but it was very apparent very quickly that you guys were basically burnt out, and you were just going through. You were burnt out. You were going through the motions. Yes, you were looking after your clients and doing the day to day, but you weren't enjoying it, and everything felt like an uphill battle, and you cried a lot.
Matt didn't.
Matt, you did it at home. That's when us blokes cry. So anyway, I had a chat with Emma the other day, and she was like, Matt is absolutely smashing it. He's doing this, he's sticking to all the systems, he's holding people accountable. The department's just going from strength to strength. And I sent Matt a voice note. He's very dry, Matt, so he doesn't like need.
But he doesn't need the adulation. He's always said that.
Adulation, good word, Emma. But I sent him a voice note and to say, Emma's just said you're doing amazing. I just thought I'd let you know, and I won't waffle on, but that's what he said. And then he messaged me back and said, I'm just going to read the message because it's made me proud. He said, cheers, Mike, exclamation mark. So much of it has simply come down to what must be true. That and getting clarity on the department, not just for me, but for everyone equally. Having the transparency of performance public means that higher performers want to crack on, and people that don't want that are being held to account. That and dismantling just how much the team loves to or has been conditioned to maybe overcomplicate things. 90% of our problems would disappear if everyone just did what they said they would do when they said they would do it. They're beginning to learn that. It's a phrase we're repeating a lot, and having that as a key focus strips away a lot of the BS and nonsense. And that made me really happy to my core, because it is what we talked about on this episode, which is just having a vision, believing in it, and holding everyone to account to it. That's what creates a good business.
Yeah.
And that will potentially, I don't think it will in your business, but that will often mean that some people in your team will leave.
Yeah.
Because they're not there for the vision, they're there for comfort. But the ones that are there for the vision, the ones that are going to make a great culture, will love it. They'll suck it up. And those people that did the smear campaign against you, they didn't care about the vision of my bit.
No,
they wanted a comfortable job, and they had massive egos, and they didn't like the fact that you conflicted with that. And we've just got to stick to our guns. And
and your simplification, if that's a word, of we definitely had a habit of kind of, well, before we do this, we need to do A to Z, whereas you go, let's just do A and B and keep it like really simple, really high level. That simplification has helped massively. Matt cracked me up the other day because he said that they were talking about a way that they used to do things, like an old manager would put a system in and they were all doing it, but all thought it was stupid. And Matt said, well, why are we doing this? And they were like, well, it's so that like anybody could do it, like even an idiot could do it. And Matt was like, well, how about we just stop hiring idiots?
How about we don't have idiots?
How about we don't hire idiots? And how about we just have the high level so that everybody's kind of guided to the right way and can do a good job. And I think like that was the element of 2023. We got so down in the weeds of everybody needed everything spoon feeding. And your simplicity has really, really helped us both.
And you guys getting the confidence back to say that, like, we don't need to have idiots in this business. Like, we can fire them. We can fire them or manage them out if they're, and we need to do what's right for the business. And ultimately, it all comes back to that core forward, doesn't it? What works for Emma, what works for the team, the right team, what works for the bottom line, what works for the customers, and it needs to be that sweet spot in the middle. Right. I think that brings us to a nice conclusion of the episode. What I love about you is your openness and honesty. Like you don't hold anything. You don't hold anything back, do you? Like you're very raw, open and honest. And I think, I mean, I'm really excited to put this episode out because it's an 18-year business journey from somebody in their 20s to in their 50s, in their 40s, and all of these different milestones. And I want to try and make. I don't want to promise that I'm going to do this, but I want to try and make a little visual of your journey as a business owner. And those key stages. I think that'd be really cool to map out and share with the world. And I know for a fact a lot of business owners are going to listen to this and find it cathartic, like you said earlier.
I hope so, yeah.
Because you're open, you're honest, you talk about the challenges, and you don't hold anything back, and people will resonate with those different stages of your journey. And they'll be like, oh, fuck, there's a way out of this. Emma's done it. Why can't I?
Yeah, no, totally. I hope so. It is hard, and it's also the most amazing thing that you can ever do, I think, have a business. But I just wanted to say as well, like I kind of touched on it before, but yeah, last year was tough, but we made all of these changes. I feel like it. You know, this Year of the Snake and Year of the Fire Horse that everybody keeps
for
talking
God's
about.
sake.
I know you're not going to be into this at all.
Why?
When I was reading about it, I was like, it did feel like Year of the Snake at my PA. We were shedding all of this stuff. We were
It's
letting go of everything that didn't serve us. I know you're not woo-woo at all.
It's making me laugh because Laura sent me this Year of the Fire Horse thing stuff yesterday, and I just texted her back and said, "What a load of shit." She's like, "It's really motivating." Yeah.
But it does feel like this is what it's been like for my PA because since we came back from Christmas, there's wherever we're now, 6-7 weeks that we've hit the sales target each week. Nice. Like the team are flying, it's improving every single week. Like we're actually enjoying it. We have a system internally. It's a bit of software called Friday Pulse that helps us manage team happiness. Yep. It's doing nothing but increase week on week. Yep. Consistently, like
Ooh, I got goosebumps there, man. You gave me goosebumps. I love it. Where do people
So it's
go?
the Chinese New Year, not you.
Yeah. Next year is the frozen donkey, so that'll be. Who knows what that means? I made that up. It's not. Don't Google it. Where do people go if they want to find out about getting support through my PA?
So we are EMi-PA. We're not my PA with a Y.
It's a painting service.
Yeah, it is a painting. No, it's not. There's an MIPA painting in Spain.
Okay.
So we're MIPA. The people think is it because it's related to Mills, but it's not. Just the domain wasn't available at the time.
Narcissist.
But, yeah.
Maybe when all business owners have got a little bit of narcissism in them.
So to find us, we're mi-pa.co.uk, and to find me online, I'm Emma Mills or MMIPA on every platform.
Yeah, mainly you do loads on LinkedIn and Instagram.
LinkedIn and
yeah,
Instagram,
and you're starting to do a lot of behind the scenes now. So I think if you've enjoyed this episode, go and follow Emma on Instagram and watch her stories because you're doing a lot more stuff this year, aren't you? About showing the business and
well, it's part of the leverage of Emma. We've just employed a video social content lead. Never had that.
You mean that thing that when you do it, you're really happy and you make loads of money?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to do that again.
Yeah.
Cool. Brilliant. Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, Mike.